And you'll like it.
Sister has an L, because she tells her like, that's the one where you want to die after. And so I'll be ball, I'll be in the.
That's what I got.
More on time.
I don't know, we're gonna do it really here, but she's not right there.
Oh, she first heard that we especially saw. That I had my big work and she's still like.
She got some picture taken in front of her.
Are we live?
Yes.
Go ahead, call to order this meeting of the Pleasant Hill School Board of Directors. It is April 21st, 2025. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would you mind reading our mission statement?
Our mission to graduate all students with high levels of academic and personal achievement, ready for post-secondary excellence, prepared for productive, compassionate citizenship through research-based instruction and a collaborative system of support.
Any changes or additions to the agenda?
Changes to the edition, but you've got a black and white copy of the bill number 2526 that will replace the exhibit 2425.225. So there was a mistake on the dates in the original.
Any other changes or additions? Normally we do this time, we do introductions of our audience. I think if there's anybody here who's not with the ed paper, we'll do introductions.
Oh, it's me. Jessica Wolfe, title teacher at the elementary. Molly Howell, parent, fourth grade teacher, community member.
Welcome, and welcome to the rest of you as well. Bring us to 4.0 public forum. For those who are here, during this portion of the board meeting, members of the public are specifically invited to present items of commendation or concerns. At the discretion of the board chair, further public participation may be allowed at the time specific agenda items are under consideration by the board. District policy PPDH. For those online, the school district posts the upcoming agenda on our website, hill.k12.or.us, the Friday before regularly scheduled Monday school board meetings. This will allow for public comment prior to the board meeting. Please click on the tab provided to share your comments for the school board to consider at the upcoming meeting. Personnel matters may not be discussed in public at school board meetings. Members of the public who have personnel concerns or accommodations should share them directly with the district superintendent. After we have any public comments. That will bring us to our CTE and ACT presentations. We'll find into the Zoom meeting, we'll be able to see what's being shown above us.
No.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
No.
Thank you, school board members for allowing us the opportunity to present this evening. The agricultural business management and leadership class primarily focuses on business planning and management, community service and grant writing, college and trade school preparation, and technical writing and speaking. Tonight, we will present a collaboration of our CTE and FFA year review. Students have worked to assemble this project and show the impactful experiences that help shape our CTE program. So we have a presentation with some artifacts. Some of those are located at the ends of the table, so we can pass those around during the presentations if you're interested. We also have some plant cell flyers for an event that's coming up on May 3rd here at the school district. And what we're going to do for time efficiency is we're actually going to have our speakers line up here momentarily. They will give their presentation, have a seat. We'll play a short video in between, and then seniors will give their senior testimonies from their seat. So just trying to speed it along. So give us a minute while we get ourselves oriented. Yes, okay, then the front. Not possible with second grade.
I mean, it is.
Okay, so you're gonna continue to line up that.
And it doesn't actually. You can try.
Some of the main objectives of our CTE programs are designed to help students learn practical skills and knowledge in various fields related to agriculture and technical careers. These programs help students learn what they want to do after high school and gives them the tools, resources, and knowledge to be able to transfer those skills into the real workforce straight out of high school. Some of the opportunities students get are they are provided true hands-on work-based learning, engage students in real community work, challenge students to learn who they are after high school, and give students opportunity to earn credentials, certifications early to create more opportunities for post-graduation success.
Here at Pleasant Hill High School, our Ag CTE curriculum has more than any classes I've heard of in most of my life. But these courses include construction, advanced construction, metal shop, advanced metals, horticulture, floriculture, and science, and many more. In doing these classes, credits can earn pathway credits and are eligible to complete the three credit Ag natural resource pathway. This will earn funding dollars, and students may receive some college credit and graduation honors. Some of our courses align with colleges like LCC and LBCC and others.
So we have a agriculture experience tracker, and it's a program used by CTE students and FFA members alike. The AET program is used for ODE instructors and FFA members to track scholarships, career development practices, award state and national FFA degrees, proficiencies, agri-science projects, as well as ODE reporting. This year we have 215 students and FFA members from 7th to 12th grade. 195 students have personal SAE, while the others have school-based SAEs. Pleasant Hill High School has over 15,000 journal hours for class time and SAE project time. This does not include FFA competitions and leadership activities as well as conferences.
One of the requirements for 9th through 12th grade is to build a resume, have one letter of recommendation, and revise it every year to make it as good as possible. My personal resume has helped me get 2 jobs, and today being my first day of a new job as an electrician.
All students in ag and natural resources are required to complete an annual supervised agriculture experience or an SEU project. This student chosen projects allows students to learn many different skills such as planning, setting goals, budgeting, tracking progress, reporting, and presenting in class. My personal experience, I attended a CTE program called the HOPE Project. It taught me many different skills such as electrician, plumbing, construction skills. It also allowed me to earn qualifications such as OSHA 10 and my NCCR certifications.
Pleasant Hill Middle and High School, students attend and host a variety of career opportunities, including industrial tours, guest speakers, career fairs, and college tours. Some like OSU tour, UFO tour, Navy nuclear program, Dropson Crackers, Peterson Pacific, welding school, Peterson Cat, and PH, Pleasant Hill High School career fair.
The CTE program has made a bigger impact on my life than any other class has. The CTE program connected with Lane ESD to connect students to a construction related class. For those interested in working hard, working outside and using their physical abilities to help others while earning their living. The whole project opened the door to the union and utility work for things such as plumbing, electrical, construction, and HVAC. At the whole project, I was able to receive my first aid CPR, my pre-apprenticeship certification, and my OSHA 10, which are all required to become a lineman, which is my future career.
Needs further by the Sweats High School CTE classes in the first semester. There. Students in grades 9 through 12 selected as top career choice after learning about the 16 major career pathways. Each CTE trading card includes student photo, their essay project type, 3 key skills related to their career path, 1 unique personal fact, 2 career goals. This project is part of a larger career readiness process. All students will annually create or revise a high school resume and cover letter, practice interview skills to prepare for legal opportunities. These cards also help CTE teachers and students with choice projects, work-based learning opportunities, scholarships, and career field trips and fairs. The cards are coded by career pathways, so the red is medical, the green is agriculture, natural resources, and animal science. The brown is trades. And the blue is business, military, and more. Invite you to explore the display to identify those careers our students are decided to pursue.
Industry credentials and certifications at CTE. Certificates are beneficial for students because they provide specialized knowledge and skills in a particular area of trade. These the IRCs and certifications make our students more attractive to potential employers as it shows they have a certain level of expertise. Additionally, certificates can sometimes count towards college credits, helping students advance more quickly in their academic journey in college, trade schools, or apprenticeship programs. Some of these credentials can be like OSHA 10, your NCCER certification, carpentry and power tool safety certification, and your welding certification.
Winchell Impact Community, we built transitional housing for Eugene and Springfield folks experiencing homelessness with Everyone's Village. And students get an opportunity to learn skills that will help them not only after graduation, but about safety in the workplace, developing a variety of soft skills, and how to take feedback that inevitably makes them a better, well-rounded individual. And I had the privilege of making a plaque presented to a retired coach, acknowledging his dedication and service to the community.
Metal shop, I've been a metal shop student for 3 years, these are some of the things we learned. Computer aided design programs to operate a plasma table and create parts or designs. The main types of welding, stick, TIG, MIG, and oxyacetylene. Create your own projects everywhere from little metal flowers to truck bumpers. How to tap and dye threads, build smoker boxes, operate drill press, learn to work safely in a work environment.
Our greenhouse, we focus on giving students the opportunity to experience hands-on work with horticulture and floriculture, sorry. With the goal to prepare them for the future, we learn skills that we'll be able to further use after graduation. Everyone has a responsibility they learn to perform, and everyone does their part to help grow the greenhouse along with strengths in all different areas. During horticulture, we study plants and identify them, learn to help them grow and improve the process of production. During floriculture, we learn soil design and process of growing flowers. We compete in several projects and learn how to prepare orders and final invoices. We also sell these plants to the community at our annual plant sale on May 3rd as a fundraiser and money opportunity.
Small business and leadership class, we started the greenhouse irrigation system project. Phase 1 was started last year in the ag business class. Second phase is happening right now. All the kids in the class got divided up into 5 teams. Team 1 is the planning team. They thanked the donors, made the timeline, and worked on buying materials. Team 2, the design team, made the blueprints with the CAD program. They reviewed and revised the blueprints with the teams. Team 3, the install crew, they installed the lines, emitter, solenoids, timers, and programming manuals, and learned to program the systems and the flow rates. The outcome, first half is done, second half will continue in May after the plant sale. They set up the vertigator, and we'll share our final project with stakeholders. With this project, the kids got work-based learning that they can add to their resumes. Community service and leadership events. 2024 Lane County Fair, we had about 240 hours. We did plan meetings, set up and tear down. We did weigh-ins, marketing and showing, and then our banquet assistants. And then we also had ag in the classroom, Lane County Farm Bureau, Lane County Livestock Association. Then we also have the Pleasant Hill Education Foundation and the Booster Club. For the 2024 Lane County Fair, we were very successful. We had 24 students that showed and 35 animals for static projects that went through. Our FFA program generated over $120,000 from project sales, and we also had 3 people that got market animal related scholarships. This year for the fair, it will be July 23rd through the 27th at the Lane County Fairgrounds. So we have 32 members showing animals and projects. And we would love for your support. And also many of the students have backup animals that don't go through the sale, and they will be available to buy after the sale.
A FFA career development, also known as a CDE, is a competition designed to help FFA members develop and demonstrate skills relevant to careers in agriculture. For the Upper Willamette FFA districts, we placed first in beginning food science team. We placed second in advanced ag mechanics. We placed third in advanced job interview. Some of the upcoming CBE events, we have meat science, dairy food, crops, forestry, tractor driving. For sectionals, Katie Dutton went for a job interview. And then we're going to state for ag mechanics. Some of the FFA things we did was the summer leadership retreat, the fall district leadership camp. We hosted the FFA state officers, and we went to the Oregon FFA state convention.
And we have our medical CTE, courses that we offer is middle school health occupation, intro to health careers, human body system, medical technology, emergency and med tech. And then we also have a medical club. The medical club is a student-led group that focuses on different areas of the medical field based on student interests. And then events and activities, we have had several guest speakers and field trips. This February, we had the honor to host multiple regional industry members and school officials on a tour of our CTE program and the CTE classrooms. It was led by me and Kyra, and we had different students present a 15-minute demonstration that detailed each area specifically. We had Gavin Folio, Hunter Giles, Boone Marquez, Emily Krause, Jace Harris, Maya Williams, and Marissa Stroud. And we also received really good feedback from the people that went on the tour. And during the event, we got a professional videographer to shoot footage for us, which created a video that we can use to promote on our website and social media platforms. And we can promote CTE program after.
So we're gonna show the video that's almost going to be released here soon. And after that, then we'll have the students finish the last part of their senior testimonies.
So as a German mind, and all the different classes, we have all the different opportunities. I really didn't know what I wanted to do. For great and learn about different ways really helped me see where I might be.
One of my favorite things about the CTE programs are just how like hands-on it is. It's not just pen and paper work. You get to get your hands dirty and try out a lot of new things that aren't necessarily traditional.
Probably our ag classes and our workshop classes, they provide a lot of different opportunities, the connections you make, just learning new things.
Definitely the opportunities I've gotten and becoming a part of that.
If I had to start a CTE program, one word I would say diverse. There's a lot of different careers that you get to explore and a lot of different things that you get to try out.
Probably ambitious. It's really multiple, a lot of people that look at this perfect. I think the teachers do a really good job. And now the teachers we have, I don't think I would be worried that I like how you need to raise something kind of years compared to all the low class you would take, how much you can learn and know what you want to do.
The CTE program has given me leadership roles where I have gotten over the fear of my public speaking.
I wish I had considered the opportunities that will just be my variety of careers at CTE program, what it all comes to.
If you think about joining, I would say 100% do it. You get to try out a lot of new things and you might learn more about yourself and what you want to do in the future.
You learn a lot. It'll help you figure out what you want to do for your career. I would say go for it, honestly.
100% do it. It's life changing and amazing.
Definitely do it. It's worth it. If you don't do it, you'll probably regret it.
Okay, so we're gonna just quickly move into our senior testimonies for the seniors that can be here tonight to share out about how the CTE program has sort of impacted them, one impact that they've had during high school, and then what they're planning to do after graduation.
My name is Calvin Buster, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to share how CTE programs have positively impacted positively impacted my journey to become electricians. Through CTE, I have gained valuable hands-on experience and technical skills that are directly relevant to my career. Additionally, CTE has opened doors to various certifications and apprenticeship opportunities, setting me on a path towards a successful career in the electrical field.
Principal stated, CTE is really given me time to explore my interests, hands-on experience, and knowledge. For instance, for the past 4 years, I've attended and participated in different CTE classes and programs. It's helped me gain skills that I can use after graduation. I've been in metals, ag classes, CNC design, and in these classes, I've learned to work around software on CNC/CAD design machines. I've gone to compete for ag classes and welded and repaired multiple school benches, which was really fun to do. The CTE classes have really helped me narrow down classes, not narrow down, sorry, what my interests are after high school. And have given me the opportunity to attain new skills and abilities.
My name is Katie Dunn, and I've been in the CTE program since the 8th grade. I'm also currently the president of our FFA chapter. In the CTE classes, I've gotten to learn many skills that aren't traditionally taught without a CTE program. I've seen what piqued my interest and maybe what so didn't pique my interest, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to explore. And these experiences have shaped me into the student I am today and narrow my career choice, and I plan to complete the diagnostic imaging program at Lynn.
My name is Caden Fisher. I've been lucky enough to take CTE classes all 4 years. The CTE program helped me get a better understanding of what a career in terms of mine would look like. With one of the career fairs they set up, these programs help me build knowledge to prepare me for the work field, as well as important things such as interviews. I'm confident that what I've learned through CTE will continue to help me grow in my professional choice.
CTE program, since freshman year, it's been very helpful. It's given me insight into what the workforce will be like when graduating. It's really helped me securing my first job when I was 15 by having a creative resume for the first time, well, in the intro to acting class. I've been working in food service for about 3 years now, and I've been in the CTE program for a few. Hi, I'm Kara. I've been in CTE since my freshman year, taking courses such as agriculture, animal science, agribusiness management, and a variety of middle school classes. CTE has given me handful of experiences and opportunities that I don't think anyone can gain from other programs in the school besides CTE. This program has impacted my personal growth tremendously, and I recommend any freshman coming into high school to take at least one CTE class. My experience has helped me decide to study imaging and radiology.
My name is Jaden Efron. I've attended CTE programs all 4 years of high school. I've taken all ag classes and 3 years of metal shop with show. I appreciate the CTE program because it taught me many skills and safety. My plans after high school were to become a heavy equipment operator. The Pleasant Hill CTE program has made me become more confident in my skills and allowed me to build knowledge in the areas I plan to focus on. Now I'm interested. My name is Caden Powers. The CTE and ag program are showing me who I want to be in the future. These programs gave me the resources to be able to explore every possible career path I was interested in. It showed me that the typical 4-year college wasn't for me and that I want to be able to get into the workforce as soon as possible. Without the CTE program, I would be even more lost heading into the real world. I plan on becoming an automotive technician in the near future.
My name is Kevin Kelly. I've attended CT courses all through my school year. I appreciate and am grateful for the CT programs I have taken over the years. All of the courses have shown me I'm going to follow after high school. Ms. White has guided me over the last 4 years. She has shown me careers that follow my interests and made my decision was made by talking to someone at career fair. My plans after high school involved getting into a plumbing apprenticeship. CTE has made me more confident in my skills and allowed me to read brave enough to apply for a plumbing apprenticeship.
My name is Ben Marcus. I'm a senior in Oklahoma High School. I'm taking CTE classes all through high school, including ag and metal classes. CTE has helped me learn and develop skills necessary towards my career as a heavy equipment mechanic. Without CTE, I would not have been able to work for the plumbing company I work with, as that allowed me to use skills that I learned through CTE. I do so safely through practices learned in Mexico.
My name is Erin Callister. I have taken 3 years of CTE courses. CTE program has helped me get my first job with creating a resume and taking a few dealers permit. In front of ag sophomore year. Not sure where I would go after high school, but the CTE program has been a good option.
My name is Caleb. I appreciate the CTE program because it's helped me find my career by providing hands-on experience
practical skills that are super important. The CTE program has been instrumental in helping me start my career at Knife River, equipping me with essential skills and knowledge needed. Through the hands-on training and real world projects, the CTE program is connected with industry professionals to allow you to explore what you want to do in life. Nicholas Burgess, I have been involved in the CTE program for 4 years now and have been CTE has allowed me to gain the hands-on experience and knowledge to help me move on in the road. CTE has helped me find the career I want to follow, earn certifications, and prove that I'm a hard worker and great employee. Without CTE, I did not have all these tools that I can use in my future career to help me find a job I want to work. After high school, I started at Peterson Gap to pursue a career in diesel technician. Going to attend a 4-year trade school and work in a shop and transition to becoming a mobile diesel technician.
My name is Quan Rahman. The AgCTE program has been a significant influence on my high school experience and my future career path. Through this program, I have gained hands-on experience and practical knowledge that opened my eyes to the vast opportunities in the agricultural field. Working on various projects, participating in FFA events from passionate instructors helped me realize my love for agriculture and environment. It was in these classes that I discovered my interest in sustainable farming practices and agricultural technology, thanks to the AgCTE program. And now I have a clear vision of pursuing a career in agriculture science where I can make a positive impact on people.
My name is Will Shiva. I've been involved in CTE program since the immediate period. I will give variety of skills and help you do the projects. To learn more what I felt like. These classes help me to narrow down my future career choices, help expand my knowledge in the building industry. My time in the wood shop has been helpful to me. What I like to pursue a career as a commercial HVAC technician, I will start at LCDC and my whole training as a career.
Okay, that concludes our presentation for the evening. If anybody has any questions, we're welcome to try and field those on any of our artifacts or information we presented this evening.
Questions, but I really appreciate you guys all coming and taking the time and sharing how your journey has gone with us. I really love the program we have here and hope that we can continue to offer such high quality. So I'm glad that you guys all had a great time and it worked out for you.
So this is the last group that was in here. Good on you guys for doing this. We have a company and we hire 100 people a year. They don't all stay, we go through a few of them. And I see every one of them resume, every single one of them. Applications, and I can tell you firsthand experience, if I see that what you're doing on your resume, and pay more attention. I want to hire people who are doing what you're doing, because it matters in the workplace. You're learning stuff that people like me who employ people actually care about. So I'm delighted that you're here doing the program. Couldn't be a bigger supporters. Good on you guys for doing it. Fantastic. Great work. Great.
Not even one part.
You know what? One more thing.
Okay.
One more thing. That's what I was thinking about. So you all think you know what you want to do, but you probably don't. But you know what? You're gonna learn skills that whatever you end up doing is gonna help you, I promise you. If your HVA thing doesn't work out, maybe you want to be an irrigation technician and come to work for a little company like Prexia. But I promise you, the skills are gonna help you in places you have no idea that they're gonna help you. It's not just what you think you're gonna do, it's everything else you're gonna learn. It's super valuable.
love the fact that you all are here. None of us expect you guys to stick around for the rest of the meeting, so you're not going to finish too much if you decide to take off after. Thank you again so much for coming.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, here.
Plant sale with Rexia soil, okay. That didn't take long.
Thank you, Angela.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You made a lot of really nervous. I love that. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to 6.0 action item, 6.1 approve April 7th, 2025 board meeting minutes. So in terms of
I'll move to approve the exhibit 2425.221 April 7th board meeting minutes.
second, for the discussion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. That's unanimously. 6.2 licensed staff appreciation week, May 5th to 9th, 2025. I'm gonna go ahead and read resolution 2425.222. Hilton Middle School District number 1, resolution recognizing Teacher Appreciation Week. Whereas teachers mold future citizens through their commitment to guidance, mentorship, and the delivery of quality education. And whereas teachers engage daily with students with widely differing backgrounds, abilities, and experiences, fostering inclusion, growth, and opportunity. And whereas the future of our country and community depends on the ability of our education system to provide all students with equitable and high-quality learning experiences. And whereas teachers dedicate countless hours beyond the classroom preparing lessons, assessing student progress, providing individual support, coaching activities, and contributing to community service. And whereas the Pleasant Hill community recognizes and deeply values the dedication, resilience, and professionalism of our teachers in education and shaping the lives of our students. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Pleasant Hill School Board of Directors proclaims May 5th through 9th, 2025 to be the Teacher Appreciation Week. And be it further resolved, the Pleasant Hill School District Board of Directors strongly encourages all members of the community to join in expressing sincere appreciation to our teachers for their unwavering commitment and devotion to the success and well-being of all students. Adopted this 21st day of April 2025. 6.3 National School Nurse Day, May 7th, 2025. This is resolution 2425.223. Pleasant Hill School District number 1, resolution to recognize the National School Nurse Day, 7th, 2025. Whereas children are the future, and by investing in them today, we are ensuring our world for tomorrow. Whereas all students have a right to have their health needs safely met while in the school setting. And whereas children today face more complex and life-threatening health problems requiring care in school. Whereas school nurses have served a critical role in improving public health and ensuring students' academic success for more than 100 years. And whereas school nurses are professional nurses that advance the well-being, academic success, and lifelong achievements of all students by serving on the front lines and providing critical safety net for our nation's most fragile children. And whereas school nurses act as a liaison to the school community, parents, and healthcare providers on behalf of children's health by promoting wellness and improving health outcomes for our community's children. And whereas school nurses are members of school-based mental health teams. And whereas school nurses understand the link between health, and learning and are in a position to make a positive difference to children every day. Now therefore be it resolved that the Pleasant Hill School Board of Directors celebrates and acknowledges the accomplishments of school nurses everywhere and their efforts meeting the needs of today's students by improving the delivery of healthcare in our schools, and offers gratitude to school nurses who contribute to our community by helping students stay healthy in school and ready to learn, keeping parents and guardians at work, not just on this National Nurse Day, but every opportunity to be here. Be it further resolved that the Pleasant Hill School Board of Directors strongly encourages all members of our community to join with it in personally expressing appreciation for our school nurses for the dedication and devotion to their work. Adopted this 21st day of April, 2025.
Even for both of those resolutions, when you were approved, you have to vote on.
Gotcha. That's them being on the action items.
Yes.
All right, now that I've read those, we'll start with hearing motions on approving the resolution for licensed staff appreciation week.
I'll move to approve resolution 2425. 222, resolution recognizing Teacher Appreciation Week.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. 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 Passing unanimously. And for National School Nurse Day. Resolution.
I'll move to approve resolution 2425.223 National School Nurse Day.
Second. Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. 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 Passing unanimously. 6.4, accept integrated guidance 2025-27.
So this is exhibit 2425.224. It should be page 8 in your packet. It seems like just yesterday we were approving the 23 through 25 integrated application, and now we're here discussing the 25-27 integrated application. Page 2 of the presentation is the contents. So this will have the purpose of the presentation, aligned program goals, the plan inputs, and final review. Page 3 is a purpose to share what was prioritized in the plan, given the range of inputs, to explain how the plan was developed, to hear additional feedback on the plan now that it has been developed, and to seek board approval tonight. Page 4 should look really common. This is the aligned programs and common goals. So under the programs section, you're going to see continuous improvement planning, the everyday matters, and career connected learning. And then the next programs down underneath that are the funded programs. So we've got high school success that we refer to as HSS, our student investment account, or SIA, early indicator and intervention systems, for literacy success, school district grants, career technical education, and federal school improvement comprehensive targeted supports. So remember, this was the attempt from the state of Oregon to combine these programs all together into one application, which the application piece is definitely more friendly now. However, the funding streams, because they all have different legislation to them, are still not very friendly. So Sherry Stars are working up for putting the budgets together. We can simplify that. Page 5, this is the summary of the program purposes. So that continuous improvement planning, that's a process involving educator collaboration, data analysis, professional learning and reflection for improved outcomes for students, and especially students experiencing disparity. The Everyday Matters is embedded across the 5 other programs, focusing on retention on student engagement, school culture, climate safety, and culturally sustaining pedagogy. The Career Connected Learning framework of career awareness, exploration, preparation, and training that is both learner relevant and directly linked to professional and industry-based expectations. The summary of programs, high school success, systems to improve graduation rates and college career readiness. Our student investment account goes to meet students' mental health, behavioral, and increase academic achievement, reduce disparities for student focal groups. The early indicator and intervention system is the development of a data collection and analysis system in which educators collaborate to identify supports for students. Page 7, the early literacy success wins. is for school districts in order to increase early literacy for children from birth to age of 3, reduce literacy academic disparities for student groups that have historically experienced academic disparities, increase support for parents and guardians around literacy, and increase access to early literacy learning for support for research aligned, culturally responsive, student-centered, and family-centered. Career and technical education in Perkins, improving access and participation in education and training programs that prepare learners for high wage, high skill, and in-demand careers. That's the presentation tonight. And federal school improvement addresses the academic disparities for the main focal student groups and subject areas that schools identified as comprehensive support and improvement and targeted support and improvement. Page 8, let's get into the application piece now. So our equity lens and joint decision making. So we utilized our school district's equity lens to guide resource allocation, recruitment, professional development, and student supports aligned with local group needs. Conducted data analysis, community input, and needs assessment, inform decisions to promote equitable access. Prioritize students with disabilities and those experiencing poverty to persistent outcome gaps. And the goal is to ensure high quality instruction, interventions, and social emotional support for all students. Our key strategies and outcomes are to strengthen elementary literacy with 9 blocks and data-driven interventions, expand multi-tiered systems of supports and targeted supports for special education and low-income students, increase our graduation rates through the social emotional learning and PBI supports, improve engagement and attendance with system-wide initiatives and positive school culture. Page 9, our community engagement highlights. So we strengthen community engagement through the Learner Profile Initiative by developing the Learner Profile to define key skills and dispositions for future success, engage diverse stakeholders, including students, families, staff, and community members, ensure local student voices, including special education and economically disadvantaged, were prioritized. The key outcomes and ongoing efforts is to elevate student, family, and community voices in decision-making, create a collaborative, future-focused vision for learning. Next steps is to deepen engagement with students and staff to further develop how to implement the learning profile. Page 10, on needs assessment. We engage focal students and families through targeted surveys, collecting feedback from families of students with disabilities, following IEP meetings to better understand needs and improve supports. Student voice, we facilitated the student assessment and climate survey to gather insights on school experiences and areas for improvement. The purpose and the impact of that was to ensure that traditionally underserved students' voices were prioritized in decision making. Strengthen data-driven planning to address barriers and improve equitable access, and inform the integrated plan with real-world student and family experiences. On page 11, following priorities emerged. Strong demand for cohesive literacy instruction, aligned interventions, individual decision making. Families, particularly special education families, seek greater involvement, especially during transition periods. Our social emotional learning and attendance initiatives are positively impacting school culture and student success. Expand the multi-tiered systems support implementation to ensure tiered literacy support. Increase use of local assessment and data systems to monitor student progress. Provide instructional coaching to support teachers in literacy strategies and differentiation. Provide professional development focused literacy instruction with data-driven practices. And embed instructional coaching and daily practices to ensure consistency and teacher support. Page 12, our intended outcomes. Key focuses. Pleasantville School District will strengthen literacy instruction to ensure K-8 students receive aligned, high-quality instruction and targeted interventions. Enhance student engagement through social emotional learning and attendance initiatives, recognizing their role in academic success. Increase family and community participation with a focus on special education, family engagement, and transition supports, and ensure data-driven decision-making by integrating instruction, coaching, and assessment tools. The key strategies will help us achieve our intended goals or outcomes. So those actions are refining literacy instruction within a multi-tiered system of support, expanding social emotional learning and attendance strategies to foster a positive school culture, strengthening special education transition supports across key grade level milestones, and leveraging instructional coaching and data analysis to guide professional development and interventions. investments, school counseling and student success coordination, our career and college readiness, educational assistance in support of K-5 and 6A, career and technical education staffing, special education staffing, middle school administrative support, and instructional coaching. And bottom there, so all this has to go on our website as well, it's a state requirement, and then same with our budget, so we've got the budget, it's on the bottom there with the target programs budget. That is the integrated guidance for 23 or 25 through 27 application that will go through the state of monitoring approval. Any questions? Comments? Feedback? All of it. So prioritized areas that you should have heard in that, it's around literacy instruction, vocal student supports, social and emotional learning and attendance, instructional coaching and data use, and career technical education. Development process to segregate the student data, so looking at our SOSAS test scores, attendance, graduation rates, our ninth grade on track, feedback from special education families. We brought in here 15th, 9th to help with some of the climate survey, the student climate survey they got a report on earlier in the year. And the learner task, profile task force, we put together community engagement with their focus groups, AP meeting surveys, and our countywide student voice events through ADSD and community college. Utilize our equity lens for decision-making and planning, review of CTE access by gender and demographic groups, and the strategy developing data trends, including attendance gains in elementary, special education, and persistent academic gaps in poverty-affected students. The feedback, special education and economically disadvantaged families ask for stronger transition supports and key milestones for their students. Explicit strategies to strengthen special education family engagement. And from staff and students, we're reporting concerns about behavior, social and emotional learning needs, and inconsistent instruction. The response to that is continued investment in our PBIS and SEL, professional development, comprehensive counseling, and restorative practices. We have strong interest in college and career readiness, and we continue to build out our career and college counseling center, CT expansion. And in summary, so key actions, implement structured literacy blocks, MTSS to ensure consistent rigorous instruction, enhance the social emotional learning systems and our attendance practices, improve data systems, embed the instructional coaching for targeted support, strengthen family engagement, especially at key transitions and student milestones. And the intended outcomes from those are still maintaining around our third grade reading proficiency, our graduation rates, making sure our ninth graders are on track to graduate on time, equity and access to instruction for CTE and our focal group students, and then enhanced staff capacity and career professional development, literacy, and social emotional learning, instruction, and data use. Seven, application.
No questions or concerns on your motions.
The application for the guidance 24/7. Is it 24/25 documents?
Second. That moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. 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 Passes unanimously. 6.5, accept 2025-26 board meeting calendar.
On your table in front of you, you should have a black and white copy, that doesn't have the exhibit number, that replaces the exhibit that is in the separate color copy of the logo. There was a mistake on the March date. Jennifer got, thank you. So it had March 7th on the copy, that's not correct, the correct copy has March 9th. This calendar reflects our last conversation. So you notice there are 3 meetings that keep us within a traditional calendar, but October 6th is a board meeting. If needed, February 9th is a board meeting, if needed, April 6th is a board meeting, if needed. Otherwise, we've got a special board meeting on July 1st, so that will be sort of in members with the election. August 18th is the board charge meeting, and the board sessions on September 8th, November 3rd, and March 9th. Budget process in May.
On your motions, there's no questions or concerns. Then for one of the rules and fun of having a board meeting on Saturday. One of the folks there.
I'll move to accept the 25-26 board meeting calendar, exhibit 24-25.225.
Second. Moved and seconded, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's unanimous. 7.0 report, 7.1 health adoption report.
It's exhibit 2425.226. We've been working on our health curriculum adoption this school year. So this report provides an overview of the current health curriculum adoption process. Our general timelines of the adoption process began in November, following the release of the Oregon Department of Education's approved curriculum list. School content teams led by designated building health leaders began reviewing curriculum options alongside the newly updated health standards. By January, sample materials were ordered for in-person review, and by mid-February, the team had reached consensus on the programs they recommended for adoption. And by early April, schools were providing current review periods. Today, we've had no feedback from the community regarding the proposed curriculum. We did have one from the elementary recently. It was in the young students' handwriting that said, "Thank you." Teachers involved in the process. So Megan Rossio from the middle and high school, and actually had some additional support from Deidre Huff, middle school teacher, and then Mrs. Rossio also completed a health adoption training through Lady SD, and Jennifer Fisher from the elementary school. So review of standards and instructional materials. All materials under consideration are on ODE's approved list, meaning they have already undergone a comprehensive vetting process to ensure alignment with the Oregon's health standards. This allows our educators to focus on identifying the curriculum that best meets the needs of our students. And updated standards were shared with building administrators and teacher leads, released in the fall, and were reviewed collaboratively during regular Friday team meetings. Standards were also made available in further review sessions. And the recommended materials that we're going to bring forward for you for adoption at the next meeting. Grades K-8 is going to be the graded body shop. This curriculum has been successfully used at the elementary level over the past 7 years. It continues to be well received by staff. And in high school, it's lived well. Curriculum is also on the state's approved list and has been selected as the best fit for our high school level. And I'll have hard copies of both those programs available at our next meeting.
So high school one note.
It would be new, yeah. And currently, we don't have curriculum that we're utilizing.
Oh.
Yeah. Maybe right now, our teachers are having to come up with the materials.
Jim? 8.0 board discussions. I think this would be the time where we could, I sent out an email after Jim sent out his update, it's asking if anybody wanted to discuss any of those things in his email further during the board meeting, and Jennifer responded that she would like to have some discussion time on the instructional coach. And they group so that he would like some discussion about, basically this is the same thing. Along the same lines anyways, regards to reading special positions at the elementary. So. If you want to get us started?
Sure. I'll throw down my list of questions. Okay. My first question was, in one of the articles you sent, it was like very teacher directed, like they went to the instructional coach asking for help and ideas on, I think it was a transition kind of thing, but how is it gonna be the teacher's option to get help with the coach, or is it gonna be assigned? How's that gonna look for us?
So we will, it will be, there won't be an option at the beginning as far as KA literacy, because the coach will, expectation of the coach will be working specifically with helping with literacy. He's the large assessment system, and driving the literacy system. The idea behind it is to set up coaching cycles with staff and to work with staff on their need. There's a combination between some of it is restricted in the sense of here's our new assessment system, here's new practices around literacy, here's helping set up an MTSS system for us, standard decision-making rules around intervention. The other part of it though is collaborative, working with K1 teachers, 2-3 teachers, 4-5 teachers on what their particular needs are, and tailoring professional development for that. There's a combination of the two.
On the working with them more specifically outside the literacy, would that be up to the teacher to request that?
There's opportunity to request it. What I would want to see happen in this initial go around is that we stay focused on our key initiatives right now, which is around the literacy and instruction in our the new assessment system. And then once we're sure that what we're doing there, we've got a cycle in place as far as literacy goes. That's where I think that the creativeness comes into utilizing the coach. They help with lesson designing, co-teaching.
And then with it being K8, or like 50-50 between the buildings, how do you?
I think we get a natural split. When you look at the K8, we've got essentially 9 grade levels, which is going to be about 2/3 elementary, 1/3 middle school. Setting up the cycles in doing that, you would expect to see that the time would come with that as well to do it. Part of it is having to time it based off of where we've got, say, for instance, TNTB coming in. Elementary has got a professional development individual from TNTB that has been assigned to the elementary. Middle school's got one assigned to them as well. So there may be weeks where it might be a 50-50 split. The entire year, school year, up to 3 assigned to elementary at the time.
Could this person be pulled into covered classes?
I would say hard no. And it would have to be extreme emergencies in the beginning. If we are doing this with fidelity and this individual is set up on coaching cycles to be able to do it, and we're forming them now all of a sudden to substitute in the classroom, with that it just comes apart. But there are always extenuating circumstances, emergencies with individual have to use in safety of the student, especially in the classroom.
are they going, the coach, do they need any tools of any sort, programs or anything that we would need to purchase for them to be effective?
Depending on the experience that they bring to us, there could be some professional development. Otherwise, everything that they need, we can supply here from connection with the professional development team, TNTP or ADSD, but an office space. But part of that is the remodel, for instance, at the middle school and high schools, or there's 2 office spaces or 2 office spaces a little bit. Otherwise, it's normal resources. You talked a little bit about coaching load as well. So in an ideal situation, an instructional coach would be like 10 to 12 teachers. This is going to be a bigger role for that. It's just a matter of combination of if you really want to do things super efficient, that comes with a high price tag. But I think if we can, with a single person, we'll do that. I also think the intensity of the coaching and their ability to serve a larger group really varies on the person's individual experience, their ability to come into the district and we could get their feet under them, and that really just has to do with the applicant pool and the finding process.
Definitely seems like a lot to serve that many grades, that's anything.
It's a good job.
Maybe follow up on that? Yeah, I didn't have any, I mean, I think this could be a great position to help a lot of the staff out. My question was more around right now we have 2 reading specialists at the elementary and the kind of the initial plan right now, Jim's proposing, from what I understand, move forward with just 1 for K through 3, I think. And I don't know if we want to talk about this more during the budget stuff, but I would want to propose that we keep both of them going forward for now. And maybe set a timeline, oh, keep it for another 3 years or something, and then revisit and see if we want to do it. It would be essentially adding another staff member so that we would serve all K through 5 instead of just through 3. I know both my kids went through it and they both needed to utilize it, and it was extremely helpful. And I want the kids who are there now to continue to have that service personally. So I think it's really beneficial to the kids not to have to stop at that additional service after 3rd grade. So yeah, I open it up for discussion and thought, and Jim can give us feedback and what the budget impacts on that would be and all that kind of stuff. But just kind of put it all on your minds to think about as we go into this, the plan for next year.
I want to clarify, so the current title of position was hired as a K5, and the idea of removing or putting that back as a K5 position. We're not removing any of the EAs, so right now we have 2 Title I EAs. When I say Title I, they're funded from Title I into students investment, the SIA funded EAs as well. Several programs to go forward. Here's markers here, but like just the idea of reading specialist support in general. In serving, we're moving towards an MTSS model. We looked at serving, wanting to serve 80 to 90% of our students, meet their needs in the core curriculum. We talk about meeting their needs. We're not necessarily saying meet their needs and that is measured based off of statewide testing. That goes back to our standards-based grading assessment. Essentially meeting 80 to 90% of our students through core curriculum. If you look at that as far as our breakdown of numbers, that would mean that Tier 2 target intervention is somewhere between 5 and 15%. So I mean, high functioning is 20 students. On the high end is 61 students that would look to serve in Tier 2. And then the rest of the students that would fall into Tier 3, those are into we would ask special education service students. In general, with the building or size, and I'm not familiar with any buildings in the county that have 2 reading specialists. It's generally 1 to 1.5. And it's generally 1 or less when we've got EA support as well. In providing. Giving my staff.
I do have a little difficulty envisioning what exists now and what we're moving to. It's been a couple of months or so ago when you were talking about this, and I believe I commented it seemed counterintuitive to me. And I still have not been able to, or I guess I don't have adequate knowledge of how things work now to think about how things are going to work in the future. And so I guess it's a blind faith, blind trust, which, I'm not always 100% comfortable with.
Sure. Yeah. So looking at our K-5 model of reading right now, the idea is to provide more time, like with a 90-minute block of reading time, that all students are being served with core standards-based.
What do they have now?
Right now, it runs, based on some of the walkthroughs we did, in general, it's about 45 minutes. I'm saying there are some that go longer than that, and usually about 45 minutes. And there's another scheduled time that we do a walkthrough reading model outside of that. That becomes really the kind of attention time for most of our students. And so we're essentially trying to intervene our way out of a problem right now. And what we need to do is students have to be able to have access to the course standards curriculum. If they're not, you can pull them out for a different time and provide instruction at their level, which is important. They're never going to catch up. They're always going to be, they're going to continue to further behind over time. So that's the basis of running this model, that we really short of the certain majority of our students.
So you're talking about 90 minutes, are you talking about a solid block of 90 minutes, or are you talking about 2 45-minute blocks?
As much as possible, it's a solid 90-minute period of time. Now, you understand they're like in a full day of a K-5, you might have like a short 20-minute recess break in there, just because you got to get the kids up and moving, and you can't have all your kids out on the playground at once, so you have some system issues that we walk through. As you get towards your 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, it's usually your 4th and 5th grade, or for some reason, the 4th grade ends up becoming that really kind of funky program. You end up having some blocks in there that it doesn't end up being a full, uninterrupted minute or hour and a half time. But it's a matter of getting kids to a lunch line, getting them out of recess, getting them to the specials, so the entire school can focus. But the goal is to have as much as possible for instruction.
It seems like a long time span for
When you're fine.
It is, there's some adjustments, and that's part of it. Same with the assessment system, it's part of having some embedded support to really help with that. It is done.
Right, how are their EAs providing? Is it the two certified?
My understanding is 2 EAs were K3, K2, and 2 EAs were 3 to 5.
With the two
sections. Yeah,
We have more than that, those are.
those are ways that are. Yeah.
Gotcha. And so next year, the current plan is to have one and still.
Yeah.
And so then they're doing the reading instructions, the EAs are more, or I guess, similar to what they're doing now, or.
I'm not dug that deep into it, but it should be similar to what they're doing right now, as far as providing the instruction that's targeted to whatever the students are working on. So it usually require you go through a curriculum-based measure, you start to identify your students by grade level as far as who need additional support, you need to go through the diagnostic assessment to really find out what students might be assistants with, and then tailor, the curriculum instruction around that. In time, that we provide for students.
You mentioned currently we do 45 minutes of reading time for classes and then the walk to read, how long is that, or how much time is that usually?
My understanding it's another 45.
So we're currently doing roughly 90. It's just gonna be a different method of doing 90.
We're not doing anything, it's a standards-based instruction
Right,
based on your third grade.
it's reading instruction, it's just different instruction. So at the same time, it's just different instruction, is what we're planning. Okay.
Can we stand up and walk through the model?
Even student, well, yeah,
We will shift kids and move kids, but it will be a shorter intervention time. In addition to that.
Okay, so next year we're gonna play, I mean, 90 and, like a reduced walk to read or something?
It'll be a total of 100.
Okay.
And so those EAs. They're gonna work with the classroom teacher as well as what to teach, or
so the pull-out piece as far as the intervention usually will happen outside the classroom. So if you have to go through your curriculum-based measures, you start to identify the students that are going to receive intervention for kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. You develop your schedule based on when that pull-out is going to happen. There's aides or the teachers usually will go at that point in time and they'll grab, you know, the 2 to 3 kids from this class, 2 to 3 kids from that class, 2 to 3 kids from this class, however many groups you have, and then take them to a dedicated spot to provide the specific reading instruction to the target instruction.
but who's telling those EAs what to teach? That was my question.
The reading specialist should be the one in charge of that. The Title I reading specialist should be the one in charge. Part of that is also our ETSS struggle process. So some of the feedback that we got through the TNTP walkthroughs is that we have got abundance of curriculum. It's not really clear what we're using at any point in time. So part of the ETSS process is really getting down. For from segmentation, we're going to use this curriculum. It's going to be for all students. For this intervention, it's going to be this curriculum.
So is the one reading specialist next year essentially gonna have twice as much work to do then? If she's managing 4 EAs, or she is managing 4 EAs.
So look at that semantic. So based off the current structure, yes. Based off a normal structure, no, this would be the normal reading for a Title I teacher. This size.
And the goal is to serve less kids through that, though, because then you qualify less kids and hopefully get caught up in the reading portion.
Yes, the plan would be this to raise the amount of students that are actually having the needs met through the co-instruction. Hopefully reducing the amount of students you have. We also have our early literacy grant, and so we're expanding our extended learning for next year as well. So we will start earlier in the year or later in the year. And look to have more students, so essentially longer throughout that year as well. And that's after school. We're waiting on summer funding. We have not been successful about putting together a summer program. We have money. Last year we didn't qualify. You can imagine we qualified this year as well. But that's still going to legislation as far as the funds for summer.
Make sure that I understand, so I'm wondering if I've understood it incorrectly up till now, when you're talking about the 90 minutes of core curriculum, you're talking, that's just not, when you're talking about the actual different subjects that get taught, or are you talking about reading?
Reading, embedded writing in there as well. So I'll give you an example of the primary grades classroom. In 90 minutes, you may start whole group on the carpet, the teachers providing lesson of the day on the whiteboard. From there, you see where students will go back to their desks and begin to work at their desks independently. And the teacher will start to bring up the independent groups, who work with those groups who usually are level. And then she'll work, we should work with independent groups, send them back, bring up another group, then transition to, writing a portion of time, which is usually a different part of the classroom. But it's embedded with the, usually with the curriculum. So it's, the process is all within that in a period of time of literacy. So it's not necessarily direct instruction, but there's teaching a student or reading from a student or looking through better sounds or segmentation with the student or blending with the student, or comprehension with the student, that all those pieces would be part of the teacher's schedule throughout that.
So I did have, I was misunderstanding it. And so the concerns that you're saying the district is addressing by making this change is one, that too many students are currently missing out on being taught the standards that they're supposed to meet when it comes to reading and writing, because they're being pulled out to try to get them caught up to where they need to be already.
Even part of that.
But then also, the coach is gonna help address this issue with the like what you just said in regards to the amount of curriculum that we have available to us, but it's kind of haphazard and how that's being applied. So we're trying to, we're using the coach to help address that issue, not like the coaches are the only intervention we're using that, but that's part of the reason for the coach.
Part of it. So the coach helping the teacher set up their classroom to do a 90-minute period, 90-minute reading block as an example. If the teacher doesn't have experience in doing that, can help them set up their class and can actually model some of the teaching for that. To be able to help with the local assessments or assessment system, to be able to have that embedded person when we're not sure about what report to run, to be able to help run those reports. Help through the PLC model as far as setting down with grade level teams and have them sort their data and work with the reading specialists on deciding who gets supports, who doesn't get supports. Help the teacher in differentiating instruction based off of the curriculum-based measures that they're receiving. Help as far as the T&T process as professional development that we're doing. That is a process where those folks will come in or meet basically by Zoom 2 to 3 times a year, but then they're gone. So you have these long stretches of time between professional development where they come back into somebody that's actually embedded to be able to continue that work to see that it sticks over time. So it's the entire package as far as around our literacy and utilizing our instruction system. But it also has been developing the GSS model to make determinations about which students get served, what curriculum is used, what is the length of service, what is the decision-making rules around students who are not making progress, do we increase their time, do we change curriculum, do we reassign them to a different group, for somebody who may be stronger with instruction, so that person will help develop what the rules for us as well.
To get down to that. Serving the tier 2 and 3, you said it was like 60 kids, 50, 60 kids. We're gonna have to lower the bar. Or I guess raise the bar for service, like, yeah, I mean, because the kids aren't gonna just magically come in and be more green. I'm thinking about nibbles, but you know, like some of those kids are gonna, it's just like. You have to be orange to get.
Yes, there will be a transition time. We will have to work, and our staff will have to work to figure out where those holes are with students and how we're going to make some of that up. Part of that is going to be our extended learning after school. They'll help in doing that. But yeah, you definitely don't make these changes um, without that transition. Yeah, we have those transitions naturally right now where we have students finishing a grade level that, have holes that are missing and they go on to the next grade level. We're not held to give back since I've been here.
How many kids are currently being served by the recent specialists? How does that like correlate with sped stuff? Are they overlap or are they separate completely or how does that work?
They need to be separated. If you don't, what you end up finding is you end up just creating holes in your special education services, so the services end up starting to come down. This really starts to work into. We used to have, there's been with special education services, there's been a transition or this growth. So we used to use this model of providing a student for instance, an IQ test and looking at physical based measures and looking for a low enough IQ and low enough physical based measures scores to actually identify them. And there's a cut score. I forget what it was. Just remember 10%. Anyway, they would that is kind of gone by the wayside. We don't use that as a method anymore in model. We now use what we call a response to instruction. And so we want to ensure that students are actually receiving not instruction and instruction time and see that they're not making progress. And that's one of the data sets that we use in making the determination of student qualified special education services. That's one of the pieces that we're shoring up also.
So they're qualified for sped and they're not in the reading specialist category.
Correct.
Separate.
Their special education services. Yeah, maybe outside of that.
Yeah, I think we are seeing how much are each of those at the elementary.
For special education services.
And the reading specialist, the difference.
Did you find the
82 entitled, so okay, fine.
82 entitled? Do we know how many students we serve?
I don't have a number, but I can tell you it's about 5%.
About 5%.
Which is not, it's about where you expect your level of students receiving 2 or 3 services to be. Students kind of in that red zone.
It's like
Should
20-ish kids then.
be about.
Is that include CLC? CLC students as well?
Yes.
You said 60 something and
82.
or 82.
Yeah, so that's currently 19.6% of our students. With 418 and
And next year, would you want to be capping that out or even, or is there a cap or how does that work?
There's not ideally, and this is, I mean, it's hard thing to put numbers to it. Ideally, we're going to serve 80-90% of our students through our core instruction. That is a sign that your core instruction is working. And 5 to 15% of your students in the intervention.
Are you gonna re-qualify like all the students for reading specialists next year? Like, is that the plan? Or not start over? Yes.
You generally start over.
Oh, every
Not
year.
it's not necessarily by scratch though, because you get to.
Sure,
There would be coming back, but you do go through the assessment system again and identify, but naturally a lot of students will be certified.
Right.
Certified next year, yeah.
with the adoption of STAR, we're going to go a lot more information on making decisions on who gets served in intervention.
Sure.
Here, fix that, right?
That's like 22, and I'm not sure how many, Caitlin probably has about that many, and it's about 40, yeah.
Why don't they? Curious what you're concerned about. I'm concerned about kids getting up behind and not getting more like direct, more one-on-one instruction that would help them continue to make progress. Because I feel like a reading specialist is more smaller groups, more one-on-one, whereas when you're in a classroom, even though you get more core time, there's 25 of you as a teacher. And even if the teacher wants to spend more one time, if a student who they see needs additional help, there's still 24 other kids in the room, and that might not always happen the way it needs to. That's my biggest concern. So.
My own kid is one of those bubble kids, like, he could be the tail end without support, but does better with it. And I know he gets a lot more than literacy from that time.
The way it is now.
Yeah. And I don't know. If that level of service is gonna be able to continue.
Well, how would you answer it?
I'm unsure, because I've heard that recently as well, is that in addition to providing literacy, our specialists are also providing some math support, some behavior support. And so there's not a clear plan, and it's nothing that's been actually written as a plan in the title as well. So I think that is something that's just kind of naturally happened over time. This is meant to provide a much more focused approach towards literacy to deal with essentially a really farming literacy situation. Literacy is the key of students' success.
Very my ignorance here, doesn't say anyways. Is the goal ultimately to have more kids at a common level of literacy? Or is the goal to highlight where kids are individually and make them each better? Does the question make sense?
I believe so. I think there are two things happening there. Relatively naturally. So the idea is, yes, strengthen our core instruction so that more students are proficient at our standards in the grade level, with the understanding that not every student is going to come to us prepared to meet those standards, and those are the students that require intervention. That intervention then is meant to catch students not necessarily up to their peers, but up to a standard. So if it's a measure of reading fluency, is to be able to meet a third grade reading fluency benchmark at some point in time in the year. If you understand that when you go into fourth grade, that score is now raised again. If you test in the middle of school, or near the school year, it goes up again. You just sort of keep them on that path. There's complex as well. I mean, reading fluency is just one aspect.
it was a better system. Right? Yeah. So,
in my opinion, I think that is. Or. Is more support. Something great to have, we say absolutely, if you can make your groups. Smaller, you can get your groups down and they look like tutoring groups, like a high dosage, 1 to 2 students. Research is clear, they can make huge impacts. There's no way I can afford to do that, so your groups end up running 3, sometimes 6, depending on the age of the kids. And so part of this is also bringing a budget that we can sustain over time as well.
well, I think that's why you need more contiguous time. You need 90 minutes instead of 45 minutes to do that, with those, even with those slightly larger groups, and you wish you had 1 or 2.
Correct. The 90 minutes also of instruction. I mean, yeah, it's you end up expanding your reading program to 120 minutes of time for the students that need it most. And with our extended learning, it will be even longer than that for students. It is a, I mean, it is an investment. Our assessment system is a huge investment.
Are there concerns about kids that are accelerated and them being unmotivated?
Yeah, and that's a whole different piece, I think, of going through, like of identifying students and getting them working with their peers, like peers, in an enrichment type of a system. But again, we're back to what is the experience of that, like the elementary level in particular, what is the experience of that teacher to go to differentiate and provide enrichment for students who need enrichment? That is also written in the job description for an instructional coach, is to eventually take over and help with enrichment. Within the district as well. And it's, our TAG programs, we would love to have these robust TAG programs. They're not funded, so they're not robust. Pleasant Hill's actually got one of the more robust programs. I think that's true. Enrichment for our students with parent volunteers. Providing material, pull students out. They're running 15 times with students, so it's a lot of program.
So I guess my final thoughts on this, I know you said there's a transition period as if you move the group to this model. And our ending fund balance seems to always be higher than, like, oh, this is our goal and we're over that. So, like, when you guys are putting the initial budget together, my thoughts would be, well, can we have the 2 positions for, let's say, 2 years as we go through this transition and get the instruction figured out to the classes and get the students on track and all that stuff, and continue to at least have those positions for a couple of years as you move through that. I think, I don't want to disparage EAs at all, but that's why construction, I think, is always going to bring in and very impactful to the students. So, I would ask you guys, when you do the budget, to kind of look at that scenario, not say, oh, we need that position forever. But if this model does work better, that's great, and if it's able to help kids better, that's great too. But as we move through that, it might be good to use some of that flexibility to help the kids that are there right now in that transition period.
Especially when, the instructional coach, I'm afraid of that job already. There's just so much, while we're getting STAR going, and that's gonna be their focus, you know, to keep everything moved to the 90-minute block, keeps the status quo, while they can focus on getting everybody going with STAR and then
Some difficulties when you look at like a 2 to 3 year plan with a licensed individual. And collective bargaining agreement is having to go through a layout procedure. Yes. You didn't have to make the puzzle fit back together. We won't necessarily be that individual, make sure. Make sure the layout process of that.
they could just sign a like sign a date contract, a 2-year contract, a 3-year.
No, because it would not be a professional services, because it would be an actual teaching position. That teaching position would fall under collective bargaining agreement. Where there would be no reason for the association to say, yep, go ahead and just make that position a temporary position. Positions that we made temporary have been time for the resignation. So in August, we will make that a temporary position for next year. That's when it's time to hire. Temporary positions are also something that you get away with for maybe 2 years in a row. You have to let the person go after before the statutes around licensing naturally rolls over into a probation decision. 1 year's doable, and 2 years is pushing the limits and decisions.
Well, either way, I'd encourage you. The only,
We know the cost, we know getting the cost of the position is easy.
you know, my concern with that is, like, Jim's telling us that in the admin team feel that this 90-minute block of instruction is important. And my guess, I don't see how we continue that by continuing what we're doing. It's my understanding. Like, I don't see how we're able to do, like, at that point, we're basically saying no to the 90-minute instruction, because if we continue to do what we're doing, kids are gonna keep getting pulled out of that 90-minute instruction, is my understanding.
Having an additional person, especially a licensed person, would spread the workload out. We were giving you another adult that was providing instruction, so you can serve more students. You can still only serve a certain amount of students at a time based on the amount of adults you have available during that moment in time. So would it be beneficial, I think, from like outward looking in? Yes, there's benefits to it. There's part of this is, I think, looking at it as understanding is that we are raising the expectations as well. Doing this, you know, some of the downfalls for some of this that just naturally happens is if you bring in additional intervention time, we naturally fill it up. If you have special education services that are available, you naturally start to fill those services up. And then it's like just over time, you start to see the bar and the education start to fall. So part of it is the systems there, the system situation where created, we will fill it up as in services, which is kind of counterintuitive to budget raising expectations. Well,
I don't think you correct me if I'm wrong. When they go to the raising specialist, they're not taking out for part of your time. Correct?
Right now, what are we missing when we pull?
In some grade levels, it is not inside the cohort, in some grade levels, it is.
Earlier, it was 27, if not including skills and students. You asked that, and I was like, yeah, no way.
So 27.
27 would be the cap for students receiving
To do so with
That question, special
seven, tier three residents.
For what, who that was spent for.
Secretary of Fire Special Education.
The coach is gonna have to work with Star, but I mean, that's still in a trial phase, like, we're not bringing that in a full sales, or that's gonna be a small sample trial phase, it's not like,
Starting fall, years ago.
okay, my understanding is it's gonna be,
We're piloting.
okay,
Yeah,
that I got, but I still thought it was gonna be a slow ramp up for the district after that. What I'm hearing, and anybody can set any correct if I'm wrong, is that the concern of the board is that we're going to be decreasing services important for students when it comes to literacy. But the district, the admin team feels that, that the changes they're making, they're going to address the literacy concerns in different ways. And I think that it seems like there's a disconnect there for whatever reason that, that's may not be. Maybe there needs to be further discussions, further additional information from the admin team to the board. But when I look at the history of, or the trend of the demos that we've been getting over the last several school years, literacy has not improved at the school district. So saying let's do it in 3 years, it's like we've been doing it for many years.
I'm not saying don't implement the new strategy. I'm saying during the transition period, as we implement the new strategy, I don't want those kids that are on the bubble or having struggles fall farther behind.
Well, what I'm hearing from them though is they don't feel that that's gonna happen, and we might actually.
Right, and I disagree.
So that's why we're here from an education expert. That's why.
I'm not just pulling this out of thin air though. I also agree.
there is growing pains. And I'm not gonna be, all I answer about that, there's growing pains and change. Absolutely. But as a building administrator, I lived in, we'd come in and incorporated a 90-minute reading block and changed to more of a science-based foundational reading program and increased our PET scores in a single year. You're in this program where you've got identified PET scores, and then you come in the very next year and say, okay, now by now the PET score is actually up here. We want students to actually read this much more in 1 minute time. Now you've got a larger group of kids that is showing these integrated intervention services. There's growing things. We are raising the expectations and standards to get more students served in for instruction. Standards based level.
So, Jim, I want to make sure that, just in general, there remains, a real working relationship between the board and yourself, because when it comes to these kind of decisions, basically we hire you to make these decisions, and so we make the suggestions. But I feel that if we're going to, if that's something that the board feels really strongly about, it would be in discussions about the budget. Is that accurate, or?
It would happen in the budget piece. The thing, I think the piece for us to work through is, do we actually feel that there's a need to make a change based on the information we have regarding student achievement? If the answer is yes, and the assessment system, if you look at our strategies, our systems, and how we're providing that, this would be my recommendation. If the answer is no, we're fine with how things are going. We already have, we signed we signed a contract for an assessment system. Years 1 through 3 is, I won't say cheap. In year 4, it is an enormous investment, $400,000. We're pulling back, tell me that we've got some serious work to do. To really pull back
Pull back on what?
on the direction that we're going, literacy, our integrated guidance plan, raising student achievements.
No, yeah, I agree with everything you said. Just saying during this transition period where we have to pay, I would like to continue to have extra help on hand to help students who are there right now. And if we can afford it, I think you should do it. Right, that's what I'm saying, because we're basically, because it's still basically us getting directly involved in the in staffing.
And that would come through a budget process. In our first budget meeting, that would come up, what would it cost to actually be able to keep staffing levels as they are and add a full-time teaching position. Here's what it would cost. And budget committee at that point in time, yeah, I think we can actually live with that right now, based off whatever our projections are going forward. That would be approved, move on to the board, the final approval of the budget.
Yeah, I was just saying what you were asking about and the concerns that Jennifer and Donna discussed, that's.
From a budget standpoint, we can identify a time period, getting ourselves back out of that without like a natural attrition process that we just had happen with the retirement. It's much more difficult because we have specific rules so they follow collective bargaining procedures. So at that point, we would actually be seeing if there was another attrition that would possibly do. It's still doable. It's hard to do it. Production force that much. The plan was to, let's fund an extra position for 2 years, reassess, possibly even 3 years.
Oh, like you were saying about the deciding to the layoff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So right now, this adjustment, when I talk about like, these opportunities do not come around very often where you have like attrition or the resignation to be able to make a change in the program. In 2 to 3 years, it looks like in 2 to 3 years, most likely to be a force. Unless this attrition situation, if there's somebody else with time, the appropriate certification of.
Go again further, but during budget committee minutes, whether it's thoughts before we move on. Any other items for board discussion? 9.0 superintendent communication.
I just want to take a moment, I don't want to send out a message for all of you, but this weekend we did lose a member of our community, in Stearns. Lots of support that's going on around the entire state. I know our governor weighed in as well, but take a moment, recognize that.
Ten point one committee, community news announcements. Here's the boosters auction this weekend, Saturday. Ten point two, board engagement activities calendar.
Nothing new to add since our last meeting.
We plan on, being at the ice cream feed, at both buildings. I don't know if anybody else did join. For what? Yeah, the teacher ice cream feed
So we decided on
on the,
May first.
Wait,
oh, yeah, I think
May, sorry.
that should be there. Nice. Awesome. It's also, those will track regionals here at Pleasant Hill, so I might be stepping out.
I'll be in the chair.
I figured. Any other business? All right, I want to thank everybody who's come tonight. We're going to recess from our regular board meeting into executive session under ORS 192.660 B to conduct deliberations with persons designated to carry on labor negotiations. Thanks everybody else for coming this evening. We will be resuming the regular board meeting, but we don't have anything else.